storm. Our reporters are fanned out across our communities, but we begin with KCAL Media.
Before looking forward, we thought it was really important to look back and reflect on where we were as an organization. What are some things that we had done well, but really more importantly, what are the things we need to do better? Where do we need to be better, especially as it related to the head coach search? We formed an internal search committee that was comprised of a very diverse cross-section of our organization. And I want to thank each person that was on that search committee, because I got to tell you, we put in a lot of hours together. It was a lot of hard work, but it was important work. This was the most head coaches I think that we've ever interviewed in a search, at least that I've been a part of. We interviewed 15 in total. And I think because successful coaches can come from all backgrounds, all resumes, all styles, it was just so important that we were really comprehensive in this search and that we put in the work. And this was probably the deepest pool of head coach candidates of any search I've been a part of. And I want to take a moment and thank each and every candidate that took the time to interview with us. It was really an incredible group. There were a lot of really deserving coaches. A number of them got head coaching jobs this year. And I have a strong feeling that many more are going to get head coaching jobs in the years to come. But, I really enjoyed this process. We got to talk to some outstanding people, made some really great connections, got to hear some really interesting insights. And even though it was a short time, I feel like I was able to forge some relationships that I know are going to last well beyond just this hiring cycle. So I'm really grateful for that. And I just want to thank you again to all the candidates that took the time to interview. We talked internally about really being willing to reimagine how we do things. And, that doesn't mean just doing things differently for the sake of change, but it means really being willing to explore all options, all possibilities, and gaining an understanding of what it's going to take to get to the next level. One of the most important steps before we began the search is, identifying what it is that we're looking for in a head coach. And a lot of time was spent on that, and we were able to identify specific traits in the category of leadership, specific traits of football acumen. And then once you have those traits, there's really three things that you have to evaluate those traits in the candidates, right? You have the interview itself, you have the reference work that you do, and then you have the body of work from the candidates. And, as we went through that process, and as we completed the process, it became overwhelmingly clear that Coach Harbaugh was the man for this job. And I'll start with the body of work. Because really, Coach's body of work speaks for itself. So often when you're going through this process and you're looking at the body of work of candidates, you're having to look at the job of a coordinator or a position coach, and you're trying to project how it's going to be as a head coach. And that's fine, and that's worked in a lot of instances. But I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I think that there's an added bonus when a candidate has head coaching experience. Of course, it's an even bigger bonus when that experience has yielded incredibly high-level success. And probably the biggest and most rare bonus of all is when it's happened not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. And in each of the 4 times when Coach Harbaugh arrived at his team, they were struggling. And he was able to completely reverse their fortunes and turn them into winners. And of course, this past year, winning the ultimate prize in college football, a national championship. The second part, that I mentioned is the reference work that we did. And I want to take a moment here and thank all the people that helped us in this process. I spent hours on the phone talking with external, friends and colleagues and just respected people in the league whose opinions I really value. And so thank you to each and every person who helped us with that part. And I was fortunate enough to speak with, some people who've worked with Coach Harbaugh. I spoke with some players who've played for Coach Harbaugh. And as you'd expect, the feedback was just tremendous. One thing that became very clear about Coach, he is all about the team. He will do anything for his players and anything for his team. His drive, his commitment to winning is unparalleled. He just gets his team ready to play. He's able to instill a confidence and a competitiveness that's needed to win at this level. He brings out the best in his players. And, and there are times where he leaves a long-lasting positive impression on his players. As one of his former players told me on the phone, John, he completely changed my career. And then the last part of this whole thing is, of course, the interview process, right? And, with Jim, from the very beginning in the interview process, I felt there was a very natural connection, a shared vision, shared values. You know, his ties to this team, they do run deep. Obviously, he played here. He knows a lot of people in the organization who were here when he played. You know, my interactions with Jim go way back, and in the first interview, he was able to recall a conversation that we had nearly 20 years ago when I was on a college scouting trip and he was a college head coach. And, you know, all the traits that you hear about Jim, you know, they just really presented themselves in the interview. You know, his passion, his values of faith, family, and football. You know, the fact that what you see with Jim is what you get. He's very upfront. He's very honest. He told us the other day, you know, guys, I'm not a very good poker player. Okay, you're going to know how I feel. And I really appreciate that about you, Jim. And, you know, there was one point towards the end of the first interview in reference to just the energy and the passion that Coach was exuding. And my father says, you know, Coach, you got me so fired up right now. I'm going to have to go get a workout in when this interview is over. And I have yet to confirm if that workout actually happened or not. But what I promise you, given the look in my dad's eyes, if he did, he attacked it with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. Coach, I just can't tell you how excited and happy we all are to have you and your whole family here today. Welcome home, Coach. And with that, it's with great pleasure I introduce the next coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, Jim Harbaugh.
Thank you very much. If I just had one word, it would be gratitude for this opportunity, for the guidance that I've received, gratitude to the Spanos family, to Susie, to Dean, to John, to Mike Spanos, to the Rule family, Nicholas Rule, who I coached at Stanford, and Mike, who I coached at Stanford, Anna, Philip, the entire family, to everybody in the Charger organization for allowing me to have this opportunity. Gratitude to the players that have been great. Our communications have been outstanding. Appreciate them welcoming me to the team. I believe we really share an important asset, which is being relentless. I see that in the players that we have on this football team and the Spanos family. Amazing. John, that conversation that we had, I remember it well because in 2004 or 5, coaching an all-star game in Las Vegas, after the practice, John came up to me and he said, "You run a really good practice. That's a professional type practice. You know, I like the way you coach." That was really only the second time that a professional coach, owner, general manager recognized that I might be pretty good. And the first was Mr. Al Davis, who I have so much gratitude to. So to me, from that moment on, I knew you could recognize talent, and this was like a young Al Davis to me. So cool. And Dean, when you said, we're hungry to win, I'm hungry to win, I told you that, and you said you're starving. It just resonated with me so much. You're about it. You're a grinder. You're one of the first in the building. I've been watching, and one of the last to leave through every single interview. You've been there 28, 30-some straight days. So just everybody's been great and so welcoming. I just like the way you do things. I like how you do it and what you do, and Ed and Fred and Catherine and on. I could list so many that I'm just very excited. Excited. I think about if I could describe it to you, it'd be like Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption. Red. I'm so excited that I find I can't sit still or hold a thought in my head. What a free man would feel before a long journey, and I just want to make it across the border want to shake my friend's hand. That's how I feel. And I want to get, want to win the right way, want to treat people in a first-class way, and, get really good at football and attacking each day. Like John said, I'm attacking it with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. I want to especially thank my family as well. My beautiful wife, Sarah, who does so much. Thank goodness for mothers. All that you do in supporting me, supporting our family. The best. Just the best thing that's happened to me. You're the best. You're tremendous. And my kids, I'm just so proud. Dad of 7. My son Jay, who's a great man, great husband, father. He's a great football coach. Grateful for all the work he's done as a coach on our team at Michigan, and my son James, who's here. Gracie, who's not here, but both shining stars, and daughter Addie, who's here today, 15, and Katie Bear, and Jack, the quarterback, and my son Johnny is here today. What's up, Johnny? Doing all right? I see you wearing the jersey. Let's go. Yeah, so much to talk about. Just feeling good. And also, who I would not be here without is my parents, Jackie Harbaugh, my mom. Talking about moms, just the best, and did nothing to be born into that family, but just luck. My name should be Lucky. How'd you get so lucky? That's how I feel. My parents and my brother John and my sister Joni, just such a blessing. And they weren't. Mom and Dad weren't able to make it here today, but hope to get them out here to Southern California soon. Kids, Dad, Mom, the kids really love living next door to their Papa and Yai. So we'll see what we can get done there. So yeah, I would open it up to questions. A lot to probably talk about, and let's have at it.
Coach, this is I'm Jim Hill of KCAL 9 News. Congratulations.
You're a legend.
No, you're the legend.
You're a legend.
No, you're the
legend.
Believe me, you're the legend. First of all, congratulations and good luck. And by seeing all of us here today, what does this tell you about how popular this choice is by the Chargers to get you as their head coach and the great expectations to come?
Well, thank you for that question, Jim. And you are a legend. And we're in one of the great cities there is. One thing I know is Los Angeles, Southern California. They respect talent, effort, and winning, and it needs to be multiple championships, and we're going to be humble and hungry, but that's our goal. That's our goal, is to treat people in a first-class manner, to win multiple championships, and day by day. Now I'm quoting Jackie Harbaugh now. I mean, going to be one day at a time, one game at a time, one play at a time. Thank you.
Yeah, Coach, over here. Left.
You're right. Am I right?
Bill Plaschke, Los Angeles Times.
No, another legend. Wow. No. Coming at me left and right here with the legends.
You're right. Jim Hill is a legend. Thank you for recognizing that.
You're a legend.
So this organization has a history of falling short of expectations in many painful ways. How do you change the culture?
The team. It's going to be a team effort. There won't be any magic formulas. The only ones I know are just good old-fashioned hard work and teamwork, and that's the vision that I've received from the Spanos family. That's the guidance. That this has to be done. This has to be done like a team, and the great family that they are. Team, family, those are synonymous, for each other. And I got to quote Katie, my daughter Katie Harbaugh, because she came up with one of the best quotes I've ever heard. Work together, win together. And the operating word there is together. So everything we're going to do is going to be done as a team, collaborative. Anything and everything that I can do as a coach, for our players. It's about them. Those helpful warriors, those mighty men, so that they can be successful. So I feel that's what my job is. Put them in a position to be successful. And then the other operating there is work. I mean, nothing was ever achieved without work. So each day, just waking up and see if we can, how productive we can be, how much we can dominate the day. So talk about expectations. What are those expectations? Expectations are to have a great day today, to make it a great day. Like some people say, like, have a nice day. That doesn't quite resonate with me. I mean, that leaves something to chance. I mean, let's make it a great day. Let's have a great day if we want to. And so that's what we're doing. And happy to be here today. And again, just thankful for this opportunity and ready to attack it.
Jim, Daniel Popper with The Athletic. I'm sure one of the attractive parts of coming to this job was getting to coach Justin Herbert at quarterback. So what excites you the most about him as a player and as a person?
Yeah, the pros on this team, Justin Herbert, you see, I mean, he's as well said on that video. I mean, he's a crown jewel in the National Football League. Derwin James, there's another one. Talk about somebody getting me fired up. I mean, let's go. Justin Herbert walks up on you, like, okay, all right, this is awesome. Keenan Allen, we got guys. Rashawn Slater, I mean, great to see him. I mean, in the building, getting the work in, and that's been the feedback I've been getting in the communication with the players. They want to work. Can't wait to work. They're ready to work, and they want to win. And hey, let's go. The weight room we're getting it cleaned up right now. We're getting it all set. Had a great day just yesterday. I mean, talk about fulfillment. I mean, going in there to Home Depot and getting the shop vac, and I feel like I'm back at USD. I mean, let's get this thing right. Let's get it good. When these players come in here, then everything's organized, and they're going to see that things are changing. Things are different, and we want to get into that center of player development. That weight room, and let's have at it. You hungry? You want to eat? I mean, this is an all-you-can-eat buffet right here. So let's get that work in, and that's what the players have been saying back to me. Let's get it, coach. So let's go.
Jim, Joe Reedy, Associated Press. I tried asking you a version of this at Disney, but what about playing for Spanos family and coming in? Was there a comfort level when you interviewed and researching this job?
Oh, absolutely. It got emotional. I mean, then I started thinking every job I've ever taken in coaching, there's a real emotional tie there, and I feed off of that. I mean, it's a game played by emotional people. It's coached by emotional people. There's a great level of emotion to it. I had the connection, and I felt it from the time I was first coaching at USD. I mean, I was there because of Monsignor Dillabo. Dan Dillabo, who's the Catholic priest for the Chargers, took me over to USD. You want to go over and check out a USD basketball game? And I'm like, yeah, let's go. Great. And we're walking over to the Jenny Craig Pavilion there, and and look over, and I go, what's that? That's our football stadium. I go, let's go take a look at that. And just looking at it and being there, I said, Monsignor, someday I'm going to coach. I'm going to play as long as I can, then coach, then die. If you ever need a head football coach at USD, please call me. And I was coaching at the Raiders in my second season there as a quality control coach, and got that call, and then went and coached at USD. Funny story I'll tell you sometime about what Mr. Davis said to me when I was making that move, but that was a connection. Then the next was Stanford. I go to Stanford to coach there. My dad had been a defensive coordinator there. I went to Palo Alto High School as a junior and a senior, and that was right, going back to coach at Stanford. Then the 49ers, it was just right up the road. All these friends that are 49ers fans, and grateful to Jed York, the York family, and the amount of incredible times that we had there. And then when it was time to go, it was back to Michigan, which is means so much to me, where I went to college. And now I'm going to the Chargers, where I played, and the family. The family, it was just so sincere. When I played, and this is from Alex Spanos, to Dean Spanos, to John Spanos, to AG. This is a family, faith family in football. Those are my priorities. And as Dean said, watching that video, the little hairs on my arm were standing up watching that, and all these memories are flooding back. None more than the last game that I played with the Chargers. Junior Seau and I exchanged jerseys, and he signed it, and I had that jersey hanging up in my home. So just so many things, but as I just recounted all those steps in the coaching profession, it's the relationships that I cherish. Cherished relationships. And I say that to my dear friends at Michigan, at those that I've coached and worked with at the University of Michigan, those that I've coached and worked with and friends have made when I was at the 49ers, at Stanford, at USD. It's cherished relationships. And now excited to form new ones, new and strong, trusting, lasting friendships. It drives me.
Hi, Coach. Bridget Condon, NFL Network. Congratulations on an exciting month. Talking about that, you were at the top of the college football world, so why now and why the Chargers?
The opportunity was presented, and I felt that the Spanos family, the Charger organization, they made it clear that they liked what I did and how I did it, and that's all you can ever want from somebody that's employing you. So, yeah, love of Michigan, but love of the NFL, and this opportunity. As my dad would say, who's got it better than us? It was time. I got so many, and I said this the other day, but I only got so many sands left in the hourglass, and I want another shot. I want another shot at to be simply known as world champions. The Lombardi Trophy, that's my mission, and happy, again, grateful to have this opportunity, and already attacking. Already a lot of work getting done, and just can't wait for, after this we're going to go over to the facility. We're gonna look at that. I think there's some still opportunity to, look at it, right, Fred? We can look at that and maybe, get some of the equipment ordered that we want. But it's just all that is just so exciting. So now each day right now is just filled with fulfillment of of just chipping away at things. And, you know, how can we make this to where we can put our players in the absolute, you know, best environment to be successful.
Hi, Jim. Lindsay Theory with ESPN. For as much as Justin's accomplished, when you look at his statistics over the last few years, is there any particular area of his game that you're most eager to get a hold of and take to the next level?
The thing that's just hitting me now, and I'm watching his throws, I haven't been through them all yet, but I want to, you know, get to where I watch every one of his NFL throws, every one of his snaps. I mean, the thing that's jumping out is just this, you know, enormous talent, and it's. I'm waking up like real early in the morning these days, going, you know, I got to bring it. I got to bring my A game in every sense of the word. And I want to get a coaching staff put together and hired that, you know, is going to be worthy of, you know, of coaching, you know, not only Justin, but, you know, Derwin and all the guys. I mean, I think, I really think this is a talented group that's been assembled here, and that's what's going to motivate it. That's what's going to drive. So I'm really thinking about my accountability and just, you know, making sure that I'm ready, you know, and the things that I tell him are going to be, you know, exact because I've looked at it and watched it, and but it's going to be a team effort all the way. But yeah, I'm excited about the challenge. You know, let's see if I'm man enough. You know, a good enough coach, and you know, so that all his hard work can be realized. I want to work really hard so that his hard work is going to be realized. Justin and every player on our football team.
And I know Joe's day's next week, but from your perspective, with Joe coming from the Ravens, there seems like an obvious connection there. But what makes him a fit for you as a general manager?
And another. I didn't get to meet every general manager that the organization interviewed, but I mean, got down to Brandon Brown and Joe Ortiz, and I'm like, wow. I mean, I'm blown away. I mean, great job of selecting, you know, these two men that, you know, and then Joe, just fabulous. You know, been with the Ravens last 16 or 17 years. Nobody knows it better. Nobody knows the talent better. You know, does a phenomenal job, and he's earned it. He has earned it. Nobody been really given nothing, you know, other than doing a tremendous job. So just so excited, Joe, to be partners with you. I've only been in the building, you know, like and on the Chargers for the last 6 or 7 days, but man, I was getting lonely. Now I feel like I got a partner, and he knows. Not only does he know the talent that's across the league and you know, in college football and on our team. I mean, when you listen to him talk, I mean, he knows it. He knows it cold. So yeah, just excited, and he knows. You know, potentially, you know, some of our systems that we're going to put in on defense and offense, and it's a great fit. And you know, just earned is what, if you're talking about Joe Ortiz, I mean, it's been earned, and there's that tremendous track record there, and I know that for sure, because of my brother John, and I trust a lot of people in football. You know, I really do, and their opinions and their recommendations. You know, not that I was making that decision, but you know, nobody I trust more than my brother. And when my brother says, you know, somebody's good, and you and Joe are going to get along great, and you're going to be a great team, and it's yeah, I know it's going to be good. It's going to be dynamic.
Jim, over here, to your right here, front. Dean kind of touched on this in his opening remarks, but I was wondering how much of the interview process consisted of you interviewing them about the resources that would be made available to football operations, and what were you told that made you comfortable, you know, that like this could be the type of place where you could win multiple championships? I wasn't. I mean, we were just conversations. It was just, you know, football talk, football dialogue. It was,
and it was great. I really, it started. It was flowing so much that I was finishing. Felt like I was finishing some of their sentences. They were finishing some of my sentences. I mean, and the resources. We're about to go after the press conference over to the new facility. I mean, the proof's in the pudding there. So, like Dean said, I mean, you know, I said I was hungry to win. He's starving to win. Let's go. You know, so I have no doubt that you know, it's all about winning and winning the right way and doing everything for this organization to apex. Like I said, I believe. Dean, the Spanos family, and myself share an important asset, which is relentless. And that's got a pretty good sense of, you know, the sincerity of that. You know, they're sincere people, and you know, I take them at the word, and everything since has been, you know, like I said, we're working toward it. I feel good about it.
Reiner Saban in Detroit Free Press. Well, I have no say. What do you think the state of Michigan football is right now, and how much have you been talking to Sharon about the transition process and the coaches that you're taking as far as Jesse Minter, Ben Herbert, maybe a couple others?
Sharon is the right man for the job. Nobody else would be. I mean, that's the guy, and they got it right, and things are. We're top-rated team right now, top 5 team. I still think of it as one. You know, the Chargers and the Michigan Wolverines, like one team. So, in a great place. In a great place. That much like when players, you know, leave the university to go on to the pros. You know, there's a passing of the baton that takes place, and you see J.J. Lee, but then I see Jaden Denegal, Alex Orji. I mean, next day they're on that field, they're throwing with receivers, and there's an excitement there. I've been involved in that as a player when the quarterback ahead of me left or graduated. And it's the same for coaches. I mean, I've been talking to Sharon. He's on, I mean, the guy is on fire right now. I mean, he's working, recruiting, and coaches like Jesse Minter. I mean, he's a tremendous coach. We're going through a process right now. Ben Herbert, I can't confirm that he's going to be a Charger. And I love the passing of the baton was there. To Justin Tress, Jay Tress, you know, hugged it out, and right there in the blue M, right in the middle of the weight room. So in great hands, and yeah, always gonna be a loyal Wolverine.
Yeah, as a follow-up, was there anything that Michigan could have done to keep you?
Michigan was great. Like I said, Michigan have a great love for Michigan and great love for the NFL. And this opportunity is something that and challenge is what I wanted.
Jim, right here, Daniel Popper with The Athletic again. Your brother recently said that you may be the best team builder in football, and I'm curious, philosophically, what are the important factors to building a good, successful football team, and why do you think you've been able to do that throughout your career as a head coach?
Well, I'm not going to let him out-affirm me. I mean, John Harbaugh he's the best of the best. There is nobody better, in my opinion. And you know, it's great. You know, we've shared a room for 16 years growing up. We always lived in a house where John and I had the same room, and when there's, you know, some competitions broke out from time to time, and when I was 6, maybe my brother was 8, we were living in Iowa City, and my dad came into the room and kind of get us to quit talking so loud. But I mean, and he said it. I mean, you two brothers. I mean, who could possibly have it better than you two? You'll be able to share your hopes, your dreams. You can talk sports, talk your goals. Who could have it better than you two? You know, nobody, Dad. Nobody. Yeah, that's right. And he was right. He was right. You know, we had that, you know, that just best friend relationship, and talking football. There's just nobody better. Nobody than John Harbaugh. The way he coaches, proof's in the pudding. The way he builds teams. You know, the way he treats people with a class and a grace. You know, I just is much gratitude for his example that he set.
Hey, Jim. Chris Rim, ESPN. You talked about winning and multiple championships and the expectation here, but obviously this team was, you know, 5-12 last year. Do you expect, you know, that in year one? You know, what does success look like for you in the first year here?
That's a great question. I mean, it's going to start with, I mean, humble and hungry. I mean, right there. I mean, that's where we are right now. Humble and hungry, and we're gonna respect all our opponents, and we're gonna strive that you know, we're gonna earn their respect, and we're gonna earn our winning. You know, tough team. You know, the resilient team, a relentless team, physical team is what we're gonna aspire to be. Don't let the powder blues fool you. That's what we're going to aspire to do.
And just a follow-up from me. I know you said you're working through some things with coaches, but do you have plans to keep, you know, any of the coordinators that were here, like Ryan Ficken or Derek Ainsley? I know you said you're working through some stuff, but wondering if you're keeping any of those guys on staff.
Yeah, working through that now. Thanks for that question. You know, just some amazing coaches, and several that you mentioned there have been, you know, having the conversations with, and it's a process, and we're working through it, and we're working through it with Dean, with Ed, with John. I mean, they've been right there, hip by hip. Joe now, we've been talking on the phone, but now he's in town. Just got in last night. So, yeah, that's priority number one right now, alongside you know, just getting to know the players, but you know, getting this staff, you know, putting this staff together, you know, want an all-star staff, you know, and that's, you know, worthy to, you know, coach our players, and so that's what we're working on.
Jim, is there a timeline you would like to have that done by?
Yeah, I'm gonna be here working every day until that's done. Sarah, I'll probably come home for a couple days, but not until that staff is hired and locked, cocked, and ready to rock.
And then your roster, it's no secret, you guys are a bit over the cap. What point do you turn to the roster and start looking at that and seeing, you know, what you guys would like that to look like next season?
The same amazing talent, amazing players on this team. And again, Joe just got in last night, so you know, we're gonna give him some time, but it's gonna be a team effort. You know, after we get the staff hired, then we're gonna, you know, really start looking at the roster and evaluating that, and getting ready for the combine. You know, that'll be next on the agenda too, and free agency when that opens, and then you know, getting our systems in. We're gonna get our systems in offensively, defensively, special teams, and then get prepared for installs for phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So the great news is there's a lot of work to be done, and you know, it's just gonna fill the days, and they're gonna fly by. But that's what we're gonna do: attempt to dominate each day and be as productive as possible.
Jim, what's the biggest immediate need when you look at this roster? I know you just mentioned you still have, you know, to get with Joe and figure things out.
Really get the staff hired. That's the biggest priority right now.
And then for you, like what are your conversations? What have they been like with the players and with Justin? And when do they get really serious?
They've been incredible. What they've been like has been incredible. It's, you know, to a man, I mean, they just appreciate them too for getting back to me, you know, and, you know, they got busy lives, and, you know, some guys on vacation, some guys, you know, with their family. And yeah, Trey Pipkins, got to meet him in the airport, you know, 3 great, big kids, you know, and his wife and his dad. I mean, just ready to go, Coach. We're just ready to go, ready to get work. Happy you're here. And, you know, and I got to, you know, he's got to, and he had to get the kids through the security, you know. But other conversations have been just as incredible. I mean, the theme is guys are ready to work, guys, you know, very hungry to win.
Coach Ted Sobel, local and national radio. Nice to see you. Welcome back to L.A.
Thank you.
Speaking of L.A., 1960, 3 years before you were born, this team started.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm probably one of the last guys left who actually went to one of those games, but the first year. But what is it like to come back to a team that you actually played for, went off and did your thing, and then came all the way back? And I asked this to Phil Jackson 25 years ago exactly. Are you an L.A. guy? How does that fit in your life?
Am I an L.A. guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I aspire to be, you know. I mean, growing up in the Midwest is where I grew up, you know, Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky. Then we moved to California in my junior and senior year of high school. Then I went back to Michigan for college. But my growing up was, and I told a lot of the folks when I was at the Rose Bowl, I mean, it was growing up, watching the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. I mean, laying on your stomach, you know, hands under your chin, elbows on the floor, looking at palm trees and mountains and sun and ocean, and wow, I want to be there someday. I mean, my favorite show growing up is the Rockford Files. It's still my favorite show. Ted Lasso has now tied the Rockford Files, but you know, that was me as a kid. I mean, it's all, you know, driving that Camaro around L.A. and car chases, and you know, got a has the you know, down there by the beach, got the trailer down there to the beach. I mean, I told my wife this. Should I tell him?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I want to drive my RV out. I want to drive my RV out and go to a trailer park, you know, like down by the water or by Disneyland. There'll be 2 that I've researched that are close to the facility, and I want to Jim Rockford it for the for the next couple months until we move to the new facility. I have that thought going through my head.
Jim, a quick follow-up on the timing of coming here and leaving college. I've spoken to a lot of coaches. They don't like what's going on right now with NIL. It's just a different kind of a job. If this happened 10 years ago, would you still have made that move?
I don't look at the obstacles. I don't look at, I mean, every job maybe has its downside or challenge or adversity, but no, I have no complaint. You know, people that complain. What we talk about, Robbie? I mean, that's a common plain. That word comes from common plain. They want to get you to agree with them. I got no complaints. Got no complaints, and you know, love football, love coaching. You know, faith, family, football, and this opportunity I just have tremendous gratitude for.
Coach Darren Haynes, KCAL. Let's go back to the siblings. Had the opportunity to hear a lot of stories from John about how competitive you two are. How much have you thought about
the opportunity of going against your brother this season? Have you two talked about it?
No, we haven't really talked about that. We know we play each other next year, and we know we play him. We play him here. The competitive nature. I mean, we're always, most of the time. I mean, I don't know what percentage it was, but you know, I bet it's 85%. You know, we were competing as teammates on the same team, whether it's hockey, baseball, football. You know, choosing up sides on the playground. We were mostly on the same team. There were times where we had some, you know, scrimmages, you know, in the backyard and or one-on-one and that kind of nature. And yeah, I mean, it was competitive. He's a competitor. He is a great competitor. He is as tough as you can want to be. I mean, tough as a $2 steak is what comes to mind, you know. But he pulls it out of you. You know, he pulls it out of anybody that he competes against. He pulled it out of me. I mean, you gotta rise up. You gotta give it. You know, it demands that you give it your best. So yeah, that's what's going to be in this situation again. I mean, and I look forward to that. He's going to bring out the best in me, and yeah, let's have at it.
How you doing, Coach? Michael Matthew, Culver City News. Just, you know, the Charger fans, what will be your words for those Charger fans who are like, hey, we want to have a winner? You know, they saw the Rams win the Super Bowl here in L.A. What are your words for them? And then secondly, you're in Hollywood now. Can we see Coach in Hollywood in some movies and, you know, a series soon?
Ooh, okay, maybe we'll talk about that some other time, but that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Yeah, first, I mean, I report to the Spanos family, to ownership, but I also feel like I report to the fans. I feel like I report to the players. I'm accountable to all those in the organizations, to the other coaches, and gonna work at it. You know, and that's the mission. That's the goal. We stated the goal. You know, I'm not going to be shy about stating that. You know, that's what we want to do. We want to be known as world champions, and we're gonna work at that or die, and we're gonna do it or die trying. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get as good as football. You know, that's our goal. And yeah, as I said before, I mean, we're gonna aspire to be you know, a team that Vince Lombardi could be proud of. You know, blocking, tackling, you know, toughness. You know, playing smart, playing fast, playing physical. You know, those are still very important. And I know a lot has changed since I was in the NFL. Last year was 2014. One thing I'm pretty sure hasn't changed is you got to win. So that's what we're attacking.
Tyler Dragon, USA Today. Congratulations, first of all. What is your message to the players that maybe you haven't spoken to yet?
Well, through text or talk, I mean, pretty much spoken to just about almost all of it. And it's been, you know, really taking their message. I mean, they want to. The consistent thing was they're ready to get to work and they wanted to win, and you know, so. Work together, win together. Katie Harbaugh, you know, just really came flowing back to mind, and that's been quite a bit of the dialogue, and just can't wait to see. You know, do what you got to do right now. I mean, spending that time with family is really important. You know, that reset, get away from football a little bit, but you know, I can already tell they're thinking about it, and you know, can't wait to see them. And when we do, we'll be getting after it. In the meantime, we got a lot of, you know, ownership, personnel, coaching. It's coming together, and we're working, and that's what we want to do. We want to work really hard to make sure that their hard work is realized.
Back here, Coach, over here. Hi, Helene Elliott from the LA Times, and unlike Jim Hill and Bill Plaschke, I'm not a legend, but Just wanted to ask, it's very common at Chargers games for there to be a majority of fans of the opposing team, for the opposing team's fans to be very loud. How do you get it to be an all Chargers crowd? How do you get it to be everybody rooting for the Chargers?
My thought is, pretty much what I said earlier. By your talent and by your effort, you will be known, and that's what I want to. And winning, and have our team. When people look at it, that's the vision that they're gonna see that kind of football team.
Coach Eric Williams, Fox Sports. With you coming from Michigan back to the NFL now, how much of an advantage is that in terms of talent evaluation with the draft coming up and recruiting some of these guys and knowing them?
I think it is. I think it is an advantage. There's so many, all the players that, that played for us at Michigan. But I recruited a lot of the other ones too through the years and watching them. I think it's going to be. I don't know how much. I don't have the scientific percentage on that, but I think it does help.
Hey, Coach. Eric Smith, Chargers.com. Welcome to LA. You've had a quick turnaround in every program or team that you've been at. What gives you the strongest belief that you can do that here?
That you can get things done in 6 to 9 months. That you can military. They put together a battalion. It takes them about 6 to 9 months. That resonates with me. But the other one is just comes from my dad. I mean, better today than yesterday. Better tomorrow than today. That being the expectation, that being the goal. I mean, productive. Let's go to work. When the head hits the pillows, I mean, sore muscles. You've sweated. You've worked. You've really used your mind to the point where you just gotta shut it off. And as soon as the head hits the pillow, you can fall right to sleep. Okay, that's knowing that you had a productive day.
Jim, Daniel Popper at The Athletic again. You mentioned the systems that you want to implement, offense, defense, special teams. Specifically with the offense, what is your vision for what this offense will look like specifically, in regards to the quarterback that you have?
Yeah, first of all, the quarterback that we have, protect him, protect his environment, on the field, protect him. Also that, beef up the run game. And the play action pass and the drop back game, we're going to try to get as great as we can. I think we can be extraordinary there with the receivers we have and the quarterback. But also the running game. Work just as hard at that and get to be a balanced type of a football team and always protect the football. But that's where it starts. I mean, sometimes tell other players, it's not that I love, the quarterback more than anybody else on the team. I love all the players on the team. I mean, like beloved sons. But the quarterback, he does touch the ball every single play, and that person is, that's somebody we got to protect. And I love the line too. I mean, there's no other position group on the entire team that they don't rely on any other position to be good, but every other position relies on them to be successful. And then the pass catchers who also need to be really good blockers, for us to have a good run game. Defense, I mean. If they don't score, they don't win, and put a defense out there that, is aggressive, hard to score on, going to get turnovers, and then win a couple games in the special teams. Also protect the football, set the tone, be the tone setters with the special teams. First plays of the game are special teams plays. So, all that to say, really, the team. Not so much offense, defense, special teams, but we-fence with the entire the entire football team.
And then just following up, I know you said you're still working through staff stuff, but as far as offensive coordinator, what traits are you looking for that position, and how important will familiarity be when you do end up deciding on an offensive coordinator?
Yeah, question. I mean, have for an offensive coordinator, what kind of offense do you envision? What kind of unit do you envision? And then, my next is to really tell me about the offensive line. Go through that position, and that's where it starts. I hear that the vision is the same. That the offense that not going to turn the ball over, but is going to be able to drive, put points on the board, and physical, but same, especially up front. I mean, a team that is tough, can block, can tackle, block on offense. We want to be balanced. Run game, pass game. Got to protect the quarterback. There's a tone there. There's an example set from the coordinator that it's unselfish. It's the same that we want from the players. We want from our offensive coordinator. Not about stats. It's about our team winning.
We got time for two more. Joe and then Dylan. Jim, there was a lot, your previous stop in San Francisco, kind of a butting of heads with the front office and everything. Just how much personnel control will you have over the roster, or what will the split be between you and Joe?
Yeah, I mean, don't believe everything you read. I mean, I remember in the sixth grade, my English teacher came in and presented this concept called critical reading. I wonder how many people would really even know what the definition of that is. So, that was an awesome time in San Francisco. Now, here, my relationship with the GM, I mean, I really want to be his Robin to his Batman in the off season, and then when it turns around to the season, I mean, I'll be Batman, he'll be Robin. We'll be Cape Crusaders, man.
And then, just as a quick follow-up, will Jesse Minter and your son be joining you on staff here?
Going through the process right now. Timeline, I mean, just got to get it right. John said it, and I respect the way they went about that process. There's so many good coaches out there, and nobody I respect more than Jesse. He's phenomenal, shining star as a coach. I've been with him, but yeah, I want to talk to as many people as I can, and before we make the final hires. But he'd be tremendous if we were. And I think Jay's a great coach, shining star as well. So we'll let you know. Haven't made the final decisions on the staff yet.
Jim, you mentioned Ted Lasso. I was wondering if you saw any parts of yourself in Ted Lasso, or if there were parts of Ted Lasso that you wish you had.
Oh, yeah, there's some things I've copied from Ted Lasso. I try to emulate Ted Lasso in a lot of ways. That's TV show. Yeah, that's one of the best. Jason Sudeikis, tremendous. I got a great story of how I met Jason Sudeikis. But I think that there's a life lesson in every one of those episodes. If you haven't seen that show, piece of advice, if I may, watch the Ted Lasso show.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the new Chargers head coach, Jim Harbaugh. He is posing now for some photos along with his new Chargers jersey. Of course, this is something that he had many years ago, back in 1999 when he played for the Chargers. Of course, we are going to have much more on his arrival to Los Angeles and his plans and what he hopes to do for the team. We certainly saw and heard a lot of his inspiring words, something that he is very well known for. He also thanked all of his family members, naming them all by name, from his children to his parents, and called our own Jim Hill a legend, who of course returned that back to him, calling him a legend. Certainly an exciting time for Chargers and Chargers fans. Again, we will have much more on KCAL News at 4, and we return our KCAL viewers back to regular programming. And we are, of course, keeping a very close eye on the weather. We've been dealing with storms throughout the morning and afternoon, and